What is going on, guys? Fraz here, your head coach of the Tennessee Typhlosions, and today is the day. It is the first week of the inaugural season of the UPL, and we are taking on Gale, the head coach of the Southampton Swamperts. So if you are hype, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new. But before we jump into the match, let's go a little bit into the preview of what I brought, what Gale has on his team, and what kind of I expect from him. So here we are at preview. Through the power of editing, you'll be able to see Gale's team on the screen. But in case you can't read, you have Mega Venusaur, Torkoal, Uxie, Kyurem White, Mimikyu, Azumarill, Terrakion, Mamoswine, Incineroar, Pyukumuku, Milotic, and Emolga. Now, first things that kind of jump into my mind is Pyukumuku. That's, I feel like, an obvious bring. If you know anything about my team, you know that that thing is going to wall a lot of my team. With Unaware being a straight water type, it is very defensive. It's kind of hard to break unless you really do have the counter for it, which is a straight electric type, a straight stab, grass attack, whatever it may be. I did plan for that in my build. Another thing to kind of look at was Mamoswine. He was going to kind of be quite an issue because he kind of wrecks my team. The ability to use both ground and ice was kind of a stab that I didn't want to deal with. He has some tanks with Mega Venusaur. Uxie is always kind of just a person to throw up stealth rocks and things like that. But other than that, those were the two main things that were on my mind. So as far as looking what my team was going to look like, as you can see on the screen, we have Swampert here, which was going to be our main defensive wall. Obviously, full HP, full defense. We wanted to get our stealth rocks up, Scald for getting burns, of course, Protect and Toxic to stall things out in case we needed to get the Uxie or whatever, honestly, low, and then kind of just stall it out. Leftovers on it just because, of course, it's defensive, so I feel like Swampert just was a good countermeasure. Next, we have Solgaleo. This was the big boss. This was my first draft pick because he's so diverse. He has so many things he can do, whether it's being defensive, being specially defensive, or being an all-out attacker. He has so much utility to him, but in this role for this week, I definitely wanted to use the Choice Band set. Solgaleo kind of runs through his team in the fact that Earthquake, Sunsteel Strike, Zen Headbutt, Wild Charge cover a majority of his team. Next up, we have Cloyster. Cloyster is going to be a defensive set with some speed because I did want to get Toxic Spikes up. I know that he has a Mega Venusaur, but again, Toxic Spikes for Pyukumuku, other walls would be super big. He's going to be our hazard remover with Rapid Spin. He has Hydro Pump and Icicle Crash just to kind of help out on the offensive side in case we need to get some more damage out. Next up, we have Mega Lopunny. This is kind of just not a basic set. I mean, you have Fake Out, Return, big things. Low Kick, I looked at his team. Low Kick does the job for anything. It also is great because Lopunny has Scrappy, which will hit ghost types. So Mimikyu isn't going to exactly be a problem. I mean, it's going to be a problem because of its ability, but Fake Out, Return, Low Kick works out great. Kyurem White goes down in one shot. I'm trying to think. Incineroar takes good damage. So we don't need to risk High Jump Kick, essentially. So Low Kick is a great option. And of course, we have Healing Wish. Again, speed with Mega Lopunny was a big thing. So if we can heal up one of our defensive walls like Swampert, that's going to be huge in case we need to do that. Next up, we have Victini. Is going to be the Assault Vest set. This is going to help out mainly against Mega Venusaur. I went with a special set in this case, Energy Ball, Blue Flare, Psychic, and Focus Blast. In this case, you know, you always see Victinis with Banded, V-Create, and all this stuff. But again, I kind of wanted to go with the special set in this case for Mega Venusaur in hopes of thinking that he's going to be a defensive Mega Venusaur, not a specially defensive one. Energy Ball mainly for Pyukumuku because, again, Pyukumuku is a great option to switch in on Victini. Last but not least, we have the Choice Specs Jolteon Modest here. Now, this guy is going to do work because, again, Mamoswine is the only ground type on his team. So if we can get rid of that by some chance, then this boy has the speed. That's why I put him modest. He has the speed to outrun everything, including Terrakion. Of course, if they have a Scarfer, it's going to be kind of annoying. But again, Choice Specs, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, and Hidden Power Ice. Emolga does have Volt Absorb, so that will be kind of annoying in that sense. But Hidden Power Ice will 2-hit KO if we do catch that on a switch.
It's Gale. We're here with the Southampton Swamperts. Nearly forgot my city, I'm not gonna lie. But we are here challenging Fraz. Now, Fraz has a very interesting set of Pokemon in his roster, shall I say. Solgaleo, Victini, Mega Lopunny, Kyurem, Amoonguss, Swampert, Mandibuzz, Cloyster, Jolteon, Jellicent, Clefairy, Ditto. all of which are very, very difficult mons to counter, especially with the teams I have and the roster I personally have. Of course, if you guys can see here, this is my current roster. Obviously, this was just me playing around, testing out some teams and ideas, and I decided on these 6. I think the biggest challenge is going to be countering the Solgaleo, Megalopony, and Victini. In my opinion, I think those 3 will be a bit of a threat, I feel. Of course, those were his first 3 picks as well, for a specific reason, I think, of course. So I think Venusaur and Torkoal, the combination is going to be fantastic, especially Venusaur with Thick Fat, obviously being able to counter Victini's fire moves, Kyurem's ice moves as well. Very, very important. Obviously, Torkoal, great setter, as well as clear with Rapid Spin. I think Uxie as well. Uxie is what we're going to be leading in with, however. There's going to be a bit of a collision or intertwining between Torkoal and Uxie, but Uxie is effectively going to be there as the initial one, and then maybe as the last ditch option if Torkoal falls in the latter stages, right? Pyukumuku, of course, needed to bring him in. He's going to be a great Pokemon. Solgaleo is going to be his main counter because, of course, steel type, but if we can get a toxic off and then block the Pokemon in, I think we could get some big threats out of the way immediately, especially if we can soak them as well. Recover, stall, it's gonna be great. Incineroar I mainly brought to counter Solgaleo. It's gonna be very interesting to see if he does bring Solgaleo, so it's a bit of a risk me bringing Incineroar, but we'll see. And we had to bring in Kyurem White. I think Kyurem White's gonna be a great sweeper. If a Pokemon dies, we can bring in Kyurem. We've got a timid nature on him as well, so he's gonna be pretty rapid. Overall, it's gonna be very interesting, very tricky. I am concerned I may have been focusing on the wrong Pokemon and he might bring in the different set of Pokemon, but this is the first battle. This will allow us to give it a good idea, settle down into the rhythm of things, and hopefully we can have a good battle with Fraz. So let's get right into the battle side of things.
All right, so we are here with our game against Gale. I'm going to take you through step by step what happened and kind of just give you my mindset on what I did as far as plays go, and then just kind of talk through the game, as simple as that.
I could have done things a lot better. I kind of played myself. I didn't expect him to bring some of the Pokemon he did. I should have brought them in hindsight. In one in particular, of course.
First thing I see, no Mamoswine. This is insane. I'm very surprised he didn't bring it, honestly, because it destroyed my team. Of course, you have Pyukumuku. I expected that. That's just going to be something that we're going to have to deal with as we go. But the nice thing is, there's no ground type. My mind says, okay, unless he has a Scarfer, which I'm looking at his team, his Kyurem White could easily be Scarfed. But that's something we can deal with, We have a super specially defensive Victini. Obviously, Earth Power can do some work, but Victini is specially defensive in that sense. I look at his team. I think Jolteon, best lead I can do. So at first, this is Stealth Rocks. I mean, it's just as simple as that. I don't think there's really anything else. He could add Toxic, maybe.
Of course, Fraz sends out Jolteon. Obviously, Volt Switch is out immediately, which is not a surprise. I think that was to be expected. I set up the Stealth Rocks, of course,
I could have easily 2-hit KO'd him. Which might have been the play, but again, I wanted to kind of scout out and see what he was going to do because I don't really know how Gale plays. So I switch over to Victini because in case he does attack me or do anything crazy like that, he's not going to do a lot of damage.
He uses Blue Flare. I get my Wiki Berry off, which is great. Here, I potentially should have... Here, I couldn't have done much. I would have U-turned down anyways. I went into Pyukumuku. Now, this is where things went a bit wrong. I probably, in hindsight, should have gone into one of my more damage-dealing bonds, set up a bit maybe. Potentially should have gone on into Kyurem would have been a great option, of course, considering all things said and done. Mega Venusaur, get that immediate Mega Evolution out of the way. It probably would have been better than Pyukumuku. Pyukumuku should have been left as a last-ditch option as a tank, but... Again, things could have been done better from my end personally. I could have done a lot better with this match. But I bring out Pyukumuku, and of course, this is where things get a bit tricky, of course. Now,
I'm outie. I'm not dealing. My Victini is not going to take anything from Pyukumuku.
Biggest thing here is I went for block, which in hindsight, maybe not the smartest decision from my end. I probably should have soaked first and then gone from there.
And Pyukumuku does one thing. It blocks you, it soaks you, and it toxics you.
Of course, he uses Wild Charge, not really a concern at this point, of course, because then I can get lefties, and Here, I again should have switched out because I knew he would have killed here.
And just like that, Pyukumuku is gone. And my mind is like, okay, our team's gonna kind of run through his team.
Again, problems were made. I went into this match not necessarily cocky. I went into this too nervous. I think that was the biggest problem from my end. I went into this match too nervous, too concerned. When it's a fun match, I'm just randomly doing it online and stuff. I don't make these sort of mistakes. But then when it comes into a high octane situation, like if I'm in a league or something, I end up doing stupid mistakes like this. Of course, he sends out Cloister.
So I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. I just go into Cloister. I can start setting up some toxic spikes. Obviously, it sucks because rocks are on the field, so I lose my focus sash. But instead,
gets the rocks. We missed that leech seed initially, which was fine. We got the sludge bomb out of the way. I think he expected me to leech seed again, considering I missed the first time. But
what? Why, Gale? Why did you make that play? Like, I genuinely have no clue as to why you'd stay in there when Victini could have easily done some big damage against Mega Venusaur.
Didn't need any doing. He goes for the Sunsteel Strike, which of course deals a decent chunk of damage. Of course, I had Hidden Power Fire. Not gonna lie, here I was expecting to do a lot more damage.
Does a decent amount of damage, but not enough.
And that's why I got scared immediately. That's why it was like immediately I went out into Torkoal, which in hindsight I could have avoided.
I'm saying screw it. I'm just gonna keep attacking.
We get the resistance off here, so it's fine. Torkoal's strong in this situation. He brings out Victini. He's losing a lot of damage with the Stealth Rocks here at this point, which was really good for me personally. I was really happy with this sort of stuff.
At this point, my Victini is really hurting, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, once I get Mega Lopunny in, I can bring back Victini through Healing Wish.
At this point, I was like, okay, I can bring it back. He's lost a Mon. I have lost a Mon. I have lost one Mon actually. I lost Pyukumuku, but I was like, I'm still in a decent place. But then it started going downhill, I think, from this point onwards.
I mean, this is literally like perfect. I'm trying to think of what he was trying to catch on that case. I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to catch in that case. But nevertheless, we have Swampert in on Incineroar. Incineroar can't do anything to Swampert. That's just, you can't do anything.
Swampert coming out. I went into Incineroar for some unknown reason, and Incineroar was a big mistake from my end. I should have brought my Mamoswine again. Like I said, I think Mamoswine was going to be the one I needed to bring for this fight, and I made a mistake in that one selection choice. That was the only Pokemon in this team that I was so baffled about. I wasn't sure what to bring. It is what it is. However, I think, this was a great first fight. Took the L on the chin, of course, as you guys will see later on. And yeah, it's just things that could have gone a lot better in terms of that decision. That decision was an L on my part. Of course, he goes for the Scald, which is fine. Here we kind of left Euxian a bit too late here. He goes out into Jolteon, which is to be expected. Obviously, I U-turn out of here. I go into Torkoal, I think, because I wanted to get rid of the rocks, which in hindsight may have been a bit of a mistake here. I should have gone into Venusaur at this point. I think that would have been the better decision because Venusaur would have resisted Volt Switch. He brought in Jolteon for that particular reason. The Volt Switch scarfed Jolteon.
He's sending my Lopunny. He sends in Mega Venusaur, and after Stealth Rock's damage, he's already at 42%. And I'm kind of questioning myself. Why did he send this in? He could have sent in maybe Uxie.
Or Specs, I think it was. I think it was Specs Jolteon he had. Sorry, he had Specs Jolteon, I'm pretty sure. Not Scarf, but Specs Jolteon, and yeah, it's just mistakes upon mistakes. Again, that was pretty much it. And from here on out, this was where I started losing Pokemon. Bringing out Torkoal was a mistake, then losing Venusaur, and then here, obviously, low kick, Kyurem, obviously a heavy Mon, out of here, and I had 2 Mon left. It went from I had a chance to no chance to some chance to no chance again. And at this point, I just been like, yeah, it's over. There's not much I can do here. Yeah, mistakes towards very silly mistakes. Like, I made a mistake at the start, which I recovered somewhat decently from. And then I made another mistake. And that's where it started to go downhill. Again, could have done better for sure, 100%. I think a lot of the mistake came in from the very first fight. Now at this point he was just BMing me. At this point, I'll be very honest and straightforward here. He was BMing me at this point, but I could have made a lot of better decisions, in particularly at the start, immediately before even the fight began, with Incineroar's position on this team. Mamoswine was somebody I should have brought. I should have definitely brought. He even brought certain Pokemon like Victini and stuff to counter Mamoswine, but alas, you know, this is a great first fight for me personally. I think, you know, we take the L on the chin. We still got 3 more fights to go through, or no, not even 3, 7 more fights to go through. And I think overall, I still have, you know, I still have a chance against the other guys. And I'm not too worried about those fights just yet. I think we can come back from this really well. I need to work on obviously going with my gut feeling rather than overthinking it. I think that's the biggest thing. But yeah, GG's to Fraz. He did a fantastic job, and hopefully he has good luck in the next fight, because I know I'll need good luck for my next fight, considering all things said and done. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my perspective. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and we'll see what happens in the next fight. Until then, catch y'all then.
I'm super happy for like what our team did in this case. We played well, and as far as our team build went, it was great. So nothing to complain about here. So great win for the first week of the UPL for the Tennessee Typhlosions. Next week, I believe we have Tystra. So we're going to be kind of building around that. So look out for the content on that. Of course, we will see you all next week. And of course, go Tennessee Typhlosions.